Welcome to the Division A lower final for RoboCup SSL Small Size League. Today, competing in this lower final, we have RoboCin and Air Force. RoboCin is from Brazil, where Air Force is from Germany. We have two teams here. One is in yellow and one is in blue. We have RoboCin in yellow, and they are in the white shells on the outside, where an Air Force is in blue with a clear kind of see-through shell on the outside. So we are going to be starting the match momentarily. We're about a minute or so from starting.
Official kickoff time is in around 1 minute, so we should expect this to be starting very shortly. The referees are already talking with the officials. The robots are moving in position. It is very much an important match to both teams. Both want to go on and continue in the tournament and gonna play Tigers Mannheim. So
this is actually a rematch from earlier in the tournament. We had Air Force and RoboCin play earlier, and both teams were able to come back and come to this lower final. So RoboCin actually, I think, lost that match, if I'm correct, to Air Force. So we'll have to see if RoboCin will be able to come back and get their victory over Air Force this time, or if Air Force will be able to defend their victory from the last match.
But one thing to keep in mind, last time the match went all the way into penalty shootout. So it was a very, very close match. There was everything possible in this one.
There were no scores until the penalty shootout on that match?
Yeah.
So very tight.
Air Force missed a penalty during the regular match. And so it went into 0-0 into overtime and 0-0 into penalty shootout. And then Air Force just had the better penalty shootout. So that was useful. But I guess they also want to do better.
This looks like we're confirming all of the software is running correctly for both teams to make sure they're both going to be able to get information from the referee about what the ongoing state of the game is, and that they can see the vision information so they can see where all of the robots are on the field. So they want to confirm this before beginning the match, despite being about a minute or so behind.
That's going to be fine. The referee is placing the ball at the very middle. We can see that happening right now. So I assume the match is soon to start.
And so we have two referees. One is the main referee, and the other is the assistant referee. So the main referee will be calling what is going on the field to make sure both teams understand the state of the game, and that everyone who's spectating can also know what is going to happen next in terms of calls and plays when the ball changes possession. Sometimes the auto referee, the software that tells you what's going on, makes different decisions than what we can see with our eyes. So the referee needs to be paying close attention and know the rules well.
The referee is giving a kickoff for RoboCin. RoboCin will be getting themselves into their own half, so they are valid to do their own kickoff, but they are still having one robot stuck on the opposing half. You can see it here in this view. And as long as the robot does not move, the kickoff cannot start.
It looks like on the camera it's flickering quite a bit with this robot, so maybe it's causing some issues for RoboCin.
But that's something, if you're in the lower final, you are really supposed to handle that. So I think there was a substitution request by RoboCin to take out, but like there is some confusion. Like the substitution is running right now, but the robot has not been removed yet. I don't even see a human on the field, even though the substitution is active and has been active. Don't mind me.
It looks like there's some confusion from the referee, but they are giving some instructions on what to do next to the RoboCin team.
So in my
like
So now we have another kickoff for yellow. They did not remove the robot as I expected them, so that's why if you see it here, but now they are moving out. We are now at the field view. Now the kickoff has happened. It is a double touch. The yellow robot has not done a kickoff, but just started to dribble, which is not allowed. So now the Air Force robot is placing the ball where it is exactly used to be for the kickoff, but now the blue robot gets to use it. So Air Force gets to do it. It is also called off for Air Force for some reason, but it's...
Looks like we had some issues with RoboCin being too close to the ball.
Yes, that is possible.
So they received a yellow card.
RoboCin has already received a yellow card, so they already have to remove one robot. That is not what they wanted to start with, but that is how it is going now. Air Force is again placing the ball for their free kick. They will show up, like they will do a pass probably. They do a pass across. It is dangerous if it would have received by the blue robot, but it didn't. You can see them dueling there, while the Air Force robot is still trying to...
Looks like the ball has been pushed to the side, but the robots are trying to fight in the middle.
The robots, you can see the ball like at the kickoff point. There was a good pass by Air Force, like 3 to 4 passes, but at this point they leave the field. So now it is again for RoboCin to place the ball to get their goal kick. On the goal kick, RoboCin is doing a chip, so the defender of Air Force was unable to defend, but there were lots of defenders in the Air Force half, so now we have a ball placement there, while the Air Force is getting ready to get a goal kick for them once the ball is placed. You can see the ball having been placed now. The Air Force is going to go back into attack mode. They are going into the other half, where we now see, well, we didn't, because RoboCin is getting the ball back into the defense for Air Force.
Again, we have two robots fighting over the ball, where it's challenging to see. Going off to the side with the robot from Air Force trying to come in to steal from the side and then chip it over back towards the RoboCin goal. Oh, but then they defended very well, going directly back, chipping in
And
towards the Air Force goal.
This was a very dangerous situation in the defense box for Air Force, but it was cleared by the keeper. So now there's a corner kick for RoboCin.
Chipping it towards one of the robots, trying to pass it to get into the goal, but it looks like they missed trying to receive that ball.
No, actually, something else happened. Right, RoboCin got too close to the Air Force defense box doing the free kick, which is not allowed because you have to give some space for the defenders. So the whole free kick was cancelled, and that's why all the robots moved out of the free kick actually, and you didn't see anyone engaging with it meaningfully. And now it is for the referee to figure out how to proceed from that.
It looks like they're trying to determine what play to do next and where to put the ball, since the ball is outside of the visible range of the cameras. The robots are not able to as easily find the ball to place it in the correct location.
The referee is asking for halt so they can enter the field, which has now happened, so now...
So how does this compare to the strategies you saw earlier in the previous match between Air Force and RoboCin?
You're not actually, it's stuck on this. Let me disable studio mode. Alright, now we're switching. That was stuck on this one.
Okay, so we got some technical advice. We are back. The game is running again, so that's good. It's apparently a free kick for Air Force. They are doing a pass down the field. It should be getting close to the defense box for RoboCin, and there were still passes for Air Force going slightly closer. That shot was blocked, but there was another robot approaching. The yellow robot is also getting a possession of the ball and doing a great shot directly at the defense from Air Force. It's passing along the field in the half of RoboCin again. We are closing in, but the ball has left the field. So at this point, there is going to be a throw-in for RoboCin in a few seconds. They have placed the ball, in my opinion, correctly. The RF does not agree, so RoboCin has to do a little bit more of a correction to to get it really in there. Just annoying because you're very, very close. If RoboCin doesn't get to finish that in the next 5 seconds, the free kick will go over to Air Force, which they definitely don't want to have happened.
It's a very good position for Air Force to potentially
But
try
this
to
is
score a
exactly what has
goal.
happened now. Right now, Air Force gets to do the free kick. They do a pass. It was called off because Air Force has too many robots on the field.
I guess they received a yellow card from a previous crash,
and
they
didn't
did not
clear
remove
off
robots.
early enough. That is very annoying because that would have been a good situation. Now there's a duel in the midfield. The ball has like slowly progressed here, where we're slowly getting it seen towards the Air Force defense, but we are back at the RoboCin field.
Attempting a fairly
It was not a fast shot, but it was dangerous. It almost went in, but the keeper was there, of course. Right? So,
not a very strong shot on goal in my opinion.
no, it wasn't. But
Not very
but
much
you're
control
close.
of the ball.
But it was close.
But it was close. Could have
Maybe
been.
more close than it should have been.
It looks like we're in a timeout now, so Air Force has called a timeout to make some changes to the robots or software, make sure that everything is working correctly. Each of the teams have 5 minutes of available timeout time during the match to make changes to their robots or repairs where they can touch their software. Otherwise, these robots are moving completely autonomously, so no one on the team can touch the computer and tell the robots what they're doing.
The timeout has ended, so I just think the referee will just cross the field and then we will continue with the regular match. Sorry for interrupting.
It looks like after we restart the match, there will be a free kick for RoboCin.
It will just be a goal kick.
It looks like they're trying to make sure both teams have the correct number of robots on the field at this time. But, they've confirmed and restarted the match.
So it is a goal kick for yellow because, as we recall, the ball has not entered the goal, but instead left the field. RoboCin is... The game is being stopped again because apparently Air Force has too many robots on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I find this rather unbelievable.
The robot in the substitution area did drive out. It's currently driving in, so...
Oh, okay, so what might be happening is that the this division does allow, I can show you, you see it there in the very back corner, there is a robot that is substituting. It's not yet in play, it is substituting. And that's why it got called out as too many robots on the field, because it left the substitution area to become a real player when it shouldn't, because it was out there to be substituted in once the yellow card had ended.
Just like in an actual soccer match, these robots can bring themselves back into the field.
They shouldn't, if they are off for a yellow card.
Just like people, maybe they haven't paid attention very well to the match and came in too early.
So the referees are discussing why the intended next path would have been would be a forced start where the ball is free and both teams get to approach, because previously, right, if you recall, it was just free kick for yellow. There's an argument that what happened with the Air Force robot leaving the defense box is a fault of Air Force, and they should not be rewarded for that by making the ball a free ball now instead of the free kick that it was for RoboCin. There's of course a discussion the referee will have to clear, and eventually they will tell us teams, and then the match will resume. But it is, in my opinion, a sensible request to override the forced start. But no, the referee has remained with the forced start, which is good for Air Force, and a little disappointing for RoboCin. The ball is free. Both teams get to approach it as soon as the whistle blows, which is happening any second. Yes, now. Both teams are approaching the ball. Air Force is getting in possession. They are doing a pass across the field. This robot is very free, but it does not get control of the ball. So that would have been a very good goal shot if it would have been a little earlier on the field than having to go back and try again. Later down the field, the RoboCin defenders were there at that point.
I think that was a nice chip over the RoboCin defenders, trying to get
Setting up the pass was nice, receiving did not work. And that's kind of the skills you need to score against such a good team.
It looks like, again in this similar spot to earlier, RoboCin is having some issues trying to place the ball. I guess it was against the wall, trapped
Sure.
behind the robot.
That is hard. There are lots of hard manipulation challenges on placing the ball correctly. But Air Force has done it, so they get the free kick now. That is going to be a rather dangerous free kick, but no, it's not. That is very, 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 very small. Oh, but there's one shot towards the defenders, but there were lots of defenders that were ready for it. Now it's the other way around. There is a very dangerous ball in front of the... And that's a goal. That was a very, very dangerous ball towards the defense. And for some reason, it is at least possible that this is a goal for RoboCin. The ball has definitely entered the goal.
There were a few different fouls happening right around when the ball entered the goal, so we'll have to see if those impacted the result of what actually happened.
That is one of the things the referee will have to look into, and probably the robot handlers too, for each team. We as the commentators do not have access to the detailed logs that will be used to decide this question, so at this point you just have to wait to figure out if...
So they can basically do an instant replay of all the data that's available from the referee logs, kind of like if you wanted to go back and watch footage at a regular football match. They can see all of the changes between when it said robots pushed each other or crashed into one another, and how close those were to the goal, whether they may have impacted what actually happened.
Yeah. So the referee has given the goal, which is probably the right call, if you ask me. We will get a kickoff for Air Force then. That is new. RoboCin has not scored in the regular game previously, so now we are going to go into a kickoff.
It looks like there was an issue with dropped parts on the field. So there's a robot that...
No, 6 seconds.
There's potentially a foul on RoboCin for dropping parts on the field, but we're going to continue with the same kickoff that we would have had otherwise for Air Force.
Oh no, actually you're right. These are actual milliseconds.
So we've entered a timeout for RoboCin. They're going to, looks like, make sure their robots are running smoothly, that they're not going to drop any more parts or have issues.
Yes.
And because the clocks are skewed here.
A very quick timeout, making sure that that was done correctly.
There is lots of discussion going on right now about if the referee called out that the goal is valid because the foul happened 6 seconds before the goal was scored, and there's discussion in the crowd if those are actually seconds or milliseconds.
And the RoboCup parts that happened 1 second after the possible goal. I don't think that happened.
I'm not sure.
That would be an incredibly skilled referee and GC operator to decide that quickly and enter that goal.
It is probably correct what the referee called out, but just in case you're hearing discussion in the background between different members of the community, it is sometimes not fully easy, even if it's a spectator that is involved with this thing, to see exactly how the numbers work.
Central European winter time.
Yes, it could be Central European winter time. So in case you're wondering why we're discussing things here like that don't seem of particular relevance, it's because there's a timeout for Air Force. They are changing some things because they are now down 1-0 and probably want to catch up. In the timeout they get to choose to do something with the robots, to do something with their software, which usually is not permitted. So they are really taking the time right now and figuring out what they can or cannot do to make this match go like they want to go. This is a win against RoboCin and back go to the final against Tigers. Both teams want to win this match and go to the finals against Tigers, so that is a very understandable objective, and so they are going to use all the resources they have. And they have finished their timeout now. They are now going to go to continue the match very soon.
It looks like we're building up a crowd at the competition in person here. You can see kind of on the side there's a growing number of spectators coming to watch the match, excited about this action.
Yes, I appreciate seeing them here. It is very lovely to see this very quickly moving robots in the semi-finals and finals. The robots are moving well.
There's the kickoff from Air Force.
But,
there's a double touch,
there was
it
a
looks
double
like.
touch. You could even hear that if you had close ears. Like the Air Force robot was definitely trying to shoot, but it failed. So the game was in fact in a double touch. We are now proceeding with the ball placement for RoboCin, just as the way we did at the very beginning of the match, where RoboCin did a double touch. Now RoboCin gets to take the kickoff themselves. They do a chip. It is a dangerous chip towards the defense area for Air Force, but Air Force does clear it. It is now a corner kick for RoboCin.
So we'll have to see how close they can get to the goal. It looks like Air Force is trying to defend against a potential pass to the center here.
You can see that there are like 3 RoboCin attackers, and they are mirrored at the defense box by defenders of Air Force. So whenever the yellow white robot moves, the black robot follows. But the direct shot at goal that RoboCin tried there, that was not successful at all. The defenders blocked that well, and so we are in another ball placement, because this time it's going to be some kind of goal kick. But RoboCin has raised the challenge flag. They are disappointed with the decision of the referee that they want to challenge. Let's see what's going out of that. I cannot tell at this point in time what the challenge is about. Teams do get to challenge a decision that is wrong. The referee has agreed that the challenge is wrong, so we will now go into the outcome that RoboCin was arguing for, which will probably be them having the throw instead of Air Force. We just have to figure out how to exactly make that happen. The ball is in play again. The RoboCin robot is not able to immediately do a redirect at this position. Air Force is slowly dueling itself forwards towards the goal that they want to go in. They have freed the ball a little, but the RoboCin robot is of course immediately back there trying to stop, and now the game has been interrupted
by no progress, because both of the robots blocked the ball from moving. And we've restarted the match where we have similar behavior, but now they were able to knock the ball free, so we see RoboCin attempt to pass it down the field, but then get blocked by Air Force, so it's moving back towards the RoboCin goal.
But it's a ball placement. The ball has left the field before, so we are once again having a throw-in for one of the teams. If they are successful with ball placement, then Air Force gets to do the throw-in. They are doing it. They are doing an aggressive pass towards their attacker, but it was unable to be completed. The game is still running. There was a counterplay by RoboCin going back down to the middle line. But in general, Air Force seems to be slow. No, they're not. RoboCin is moving ahead, pushing the ball slowly towards the direction. We now have another position of no progress, where there is going to be a small ball placement to get the ball back where it happened, where nothing happened actually. And now we're going to go into 4 starts, so both teams get to manipulate the ball. RoboCin was quicker, so they got to initially get the ball closer to Air Force's defense, but then the Air Force defender was also there, so the ball is...
This is a good position for RoboCin to be able to pass it in to try to score from the middle here, but they were blocked by this wall of defenders by Air Force, moving very quickly to get it back down the field towards RoboCin's goal. But they missed receiving, so the ball went out.
Actually, no, RoboCin defended it, so it's a corner kick for Air Force. That's a good opportunity for them to tie, to score. Well, you can see that the robot down there is very undefended if the chip goes through. It's a very dangerous position, but it doesn't. RoboCin does interrupt the game. We are back at the middle line. We are back in a very equal match. Except for the one goal, of course, that RoboCin is very happy about.
RoboCin has had a lot of good possession over this game, keeping it mostly on Air Force's side of the field, I would say. But a lot of dynamic going back and forth when that was the case. They're just very good at clearing the ball once it gets in.
Yes. RoboCin is... I would argue RoboCin is more of a team that is good at countering than really pushing possession down in interesting ways. I thought that Air Force was better at that part of the game. But now we are halftime. Half of the match has already ended. I know it's a quick match. I appreciate it's a quick match. It's more fun for everyone that way. And RoboCin is now changing the robots, probably opening them, changing the batteries. Same for Air Force. You see both teams on the field. Both teams can also do in the software the changes they need.
We have about 4.5 more minutes left of halftime, where the teams are allowed to make these changes, make repairs. And while this is going on, we just have some people taking a break. It's been a very tight match so far. It was a very good goal from RoboCin to get in very narrowly behind the Air Force defenders.
I think Air Force is gonna bite themselves over this goal because there wasn't that much RoboCin involvement in it, if we're being very honest, right? There were like 3 or 4 Air Force robots touching it last before it entered the goal, so one of them should have cleared it out in some ways.
If you have a lot of defenders, it can sometimes be a challenge if they're not very good at handling the ball quickly. Sometimes it's better to have fewer defenders that can immediately turn and move the ball rather than blocking with a large wall that bounces the ball into the goal.
Very true. Like Air Force is gonna... Well, we will see what happens, right? But I could see Air Force being upset at an own goal. At something they would call an own goal.
But I bet RoboCin is very happy because they lost their match against Air Force yesterday. It would be very good for them to win this match and say, oh, we can beat Air Force and potentially go beat Tigers. We'll have to see. Very tough matchup against Tigers Mannheim, who has won many RoboCups. Very strong team. But these are also 2 very strong teams.
Yes.
Each having very different advantages and disadvantages in terms of things their robots do well.
Very, very true. Also, I'm very happy that this match is smooth. The previous match between those 2 teams was a very tough match because there was lots of complicated and unexpected and stressful situations for everyone involved, so it took a very, very long time. And this match, if we're being honest, might be a half an hour in and we're already in halftime. Halftime is already half over. We are probably gonna have kickoff exactly half an hour, then the kickoff for the first half, which is like perfect. That is how you want to have an SSL match go. So that's all great.
It's a lot more fun to have more action than people trying to make sure you follow the rules correctly. But it's important to make sure that all of the calls from the referee are fair and that teams get the same chance to do well.
Yeah, like teams build the robots and their software for a full year, and if they get knocked out because the referee is being imprecise and doesn't care, then it is such a very sad outcome, right? So while I appreciate a well-flowing game like this, I often argue that the most important part of that is the teams being good, which those teams clearly are, and not necessarily the referee just being focused on speed before anything else. Position is good too, and these referees are being very, very good, and we should give them a round of applause at the end of the match.
They're only a small part of the large team that works to make sure all of these matches happen with all of the technical setup, making sure there are cameras, making sure there are live stream chances for us to talk to you and give you information about what's going on in the game. For those who are unable to travel, because there are so many teams coming from different international locations to see these RoboCup matches or to participate, it's very exciting to see all of the international community that can come here and both participate and help with putting on the event. Now, if you're joining us, this is the Division A lower final, so playing for second and or third place, potentially first.
Yeah, the loser is knocked out and is placed third in the group in the competition. The winner goes on to play Tigers Mannheim, and Tigers Mannheim, and this match between the winner of this and Tigers Mannheim is going to decide who is first and who is second. So whoever wins is still very much in the running for the championship. Only one win away from the championship. The loser is out and placed third. Halftime is also over, so we will be starting the second half momentarily.
We're going to check to make sure all of the robots are still receiving correct information.
Seems to be correct.
Kickoff. Kickoff will be for Air Force team.
So it might be going towards the RoboCin defense box that you're primarily seeing there. Maybe. Now the kickoff has been given. Air Force is moving out in position. And there is probably going to be a pass if they can manage. This is a pass, the game is valid, but it is passed to a RoboCin member, which is not what I wanted. This is a very dangerous situation in front of the defense box. There was the RoboCin robot momentarily able to have a free view onto the goalie, which is nothing you never want to see happening. But it wasn't quick enough to score before the Air Force robots were rushing in to defend that. Now it's a goal kick for Air Force. The Air Force robots are gonna be able to bring the ball back into play and probably doing a pass down the midfield, like 1-2 positions, maybe a third. Nah, the third one is being blocked by two dueling RoboCin robots who are slowly trying to get into position, but Air Force is contesting it strongly. There is another pass, this time by RoboCin, that doesn't land, so Air Force gets it. That would have been very dangerous if Air Force would have been aligned for a shot, but instead they tried to do a redirect pass immediately back to the receiver, which is not a good strategy in that position. The ball is still in possession for Air Force, kind of, but it's contested. They're slowly moving down the field towards RoboCin, but there is a good position to pass to, but that pass is just not strong enough, so RoboCin is going to pick it up. They are immediately countering. The ball is dangerously in front of the Air Force defense box again, and there is going to be another throw-in by Air Force.
And a robot substitution. I guess there's some sort of problem for Air Force that they want to make sure that they can fix on their robot, so they've removed it from the field. Oh, they have a yellow card, so potentially they had to remove a robot to make sure that they didn't have too many robots on the field.
Yeah, we saw that earlier, that the automatic robot exchange area doesn't seem to work for them, so they seem to be relying on manual removals at this point to not incur any problems on that regard. The ball is being placed by Air Force. The ball is in position now, so the game is supposed to be continuing immediately. You see there's a pass to Air Force that seems to be successful, but then the RoboCin robots are there. This is not a pass, but at least it has left the field. It is totally going to be a throw-in for Air Force because it was redirected off the RoboCin robot, which is exactly what the auto referee has called. So now we are getting into position to place the ball a little bit further down the field to do another free kick. Air Force is taking their time with it, but they will still be in time, so everything will be fine. They are doing another chip pass over the RoboCin defenders, but the second defender is too strong. It does defend the goal. So now we are in possession in the middle field between the two different teams. RoboCin this time over-chipped an Air Force robot, but was not able to catch up the ball. So now it is again a throw-in for... No, it's actually a throw-in for RoboCin according to the auto refs, but the referee seems to have called something else because, yeah, it's still a ball placement for yellow. RoboCin is dutifully putting the ball in the correct position. But it seems to me the referee is discussing to award this to Air Force because that's a very common problem with the automatic referees. If the robot is overchipped, it might become in possession of the ball, even though the ball was flying over it. And so, yes, it's exactly what happened. Like the Air Force got the free kick because the robot. And now we're getting close to the defense box, and it's very dangerous there.
It's right on the line of the defense box, which
But
the attackers cannot cross.
Yeah, the 3 defenders did unify in front of it, and now it is going to be a forced start. That is still, the forced start there is still dangerous, but not nearly as dangerous as the position that Air Force was in just a few seconds earlier. And now it's a corner kick, which might even be better than the free kick that we just had. Just because you are in clean possession of the ball, you do not have to share, and you get to do your first pass without. That pass was just not acceptable. The ball is in the defense area for the keeper to clear. The keeper has only a few seconds to do that, but he did. He overchipped his defenders and the attacker. There was another well-attempted pass by Air Force to try to equalize the match.
Immediately back out of the match, and Air Force is going to be doing a throw-in here, trying to get it back towards the goal to see if they can kick it in this time without running into a RoboCin defender.
There was another double pass, but the second pass was too quick and was not received, so it is now be given as a throw-in for RoboCin. So the position is most likely to shift on the other side. There is something noticeable if you look very closely on the field. The RoboCin's robots are not behaving quite as they should during stop, where they are going into the defense box, which is something you really shouldn't be doing. I don't think this affects the match in any ways, but it's something I noticed and I wanted to call out. Now we have a free kick for Air Force, because the yellow robot has pushed the line outside the outline. They are doing a ball placement, and it seems to be very hard. The ball is barely visible, and it seems like Air Force is unable to do the ball placement.
They're having trouble retrieving the ball once against the wall.
Yes, but they did retrieve it, but it's just not in time. So it is making it much more easy for RoboCin to now place the ball as intended, because it has been the hard work has been done, but that's just something that happens, right? If you're too slow, bad luck, right? This is a competition. You all know the rules. You have 30 seconds to do that. If you can't make it happen in 30 seconds, then that's on you, buddy. So now there's a free kick for RoboCin. They are doing a chip pass to their. The defense of Air Force looked very much not impressive there. It is still very much not impressive. It is still very much not impressive.
Their own goal, not really what you want to be doing.
Their defense is playing pong with its own goalie, which is really not what you want to do, but this time it was not punished.
I wonder if their goalie doesn't have a chipper to try to be able to kick it
well,
farther out.
That also should not be happening in a DFA semi-final. Like, maybe that is what is happening, but I think there would be some bad choices involved in having that happen to you.
There's a throw-in for RoboCin here. Looks like Air Force is just basically forming a wall to try to defend against this ball.
Well, that's actually a very famous Air Force formation. It's called the Air Force Wall. They are doing a wall to defend. That's correct.
It's a good name. I think it's very obvious from the name what it's doing.
And it's very obvious from the picture that it is it.
It looks like we're going to basically be doing the same throw in here towards the Air Force goal, but we're able to get it back onto RoboCin's side of the field now. But then back for another throw in for Air Force this time. So hopefully they can try to turn it around and move it towards RoboCin's goal this time.
Yeah, this game has been very smooth, but we have to remind each other there's only 90 seconds about left of game time in this match, so Air Force is probably gonna get desperate rather soon. But that was not the solution. The ball has left the field again. There's gonna be another free kick, but that just did nothing.
It's good for RoboCin to run down the clock here to try to keep Air Force from scoring, even if it's almost the same result.
But it's like only a few seconds they get there, so that is gonna be a long time if they want to repeat that forever. The Air Force robot was just not doing this shot, and that's not good. But now the ball has being put out, and it is another free kick for blue. That is almost a corner kick, so that is another position. It's once again the fact, if we look on the robot of RoboCin, that they are in the defense box, which is very weird. But now we can see the blue robots trying to score. They're setting up a pass. That is very dangerous. But
That's a very close shot on goal. About to shoot on goal right there from Air Force.
yeah, I think if they tried to shoot at goal, that would have been better. I think they
Yeah.
tried to do another pass, and at some point you just...
Have to shoot it in the goal to actually
Yeah.
score the goal.
There's no points for passing in front of the defense.
So it looks like Air Force is about to do a throw in here.
Yes. The throw-in for Air Force is gonna happen any second. No, the game is halted, so there's something the referee wants involvement with.
Oh, potentially maybe there's something on the field.
I don't know.
I saw pointing.
I saw some pointing, that is very true.
But I guess everything is on the field that we're seeing in the match, so it could be anything.
I think there were some discussions on the quality of vision, but on my screen it looks fine.
Sounds like there's a timeout request from one of the teams.
Which would be one reason to not continue immediately, but instead go into the timeout. It looks like RoboCin is taking a substitution to take out the robot, and then there is a timeout for blue. So Air Force still has 2 minutes of timeout time to figure out some plan to be doing the next minute of game,
So if
and
you-
also scoring, because if they don't, they're out.
If you notice, both teams have less than 11 robots on the field right now. Air Force is at a disadvantage. They only have 9 robots, although the timer is quickly going down for their last yellow card where they had to take out a robot. So soon they should both back to having 10 robots. Air Force probably, unless we go into overtime, will not be having a second robot back to having 11 robots on the field. Whereas RoboCin might at the very
At
end.
the
be able
very
to have
end,
11
RoboCin
robots.
might be back at 11, but doubtful that that will matter.
A very aggressive match where there have been a lot of fouls from moving quickly into other robots potentially.
Yes.
Looks like we've solved the vision issues that potentially were happening.
Maybe, I think the referee actually called out that one of the RoboCin robots was dropping a part of the top cover, that making it unstable in vision. At that point, the referee called for the team to take it out. That's probably why the substitution happened, which is something that is very reasonable, and a good referee is calling that out quickly and reliably, and I am really appreciative of this duo of doing referees. It's not easy to be a good referee in the SSL. There's lots happening, it's happening quickly. You need to be on top of your game, and these people are.
It looks like we have ended the timeout and we're about to start the match.
Correct. The match restarts with a stop, and it's going to be a free kick for Air Force. That is something they hope to use. They are not getting that free kick because they got too close to the defense area, so now it's a free kick for RoboCin instead. You have to give some space for the defenders. Now they have too many robots on the field again because the exchange robot moved into the field. I saw it this time too, and I'm not sure you couldn't see that on the stream, unfortunately, because our camera is following the ball. But in the very end, the robot that is now dutifully back at the back line where it should be, drove into the match, and that's why it got interrupted. This seems to be one of these cases where the spectator, i.e. me, was able to see something the referee wasn't. That happens. So the referee is just continuing the game at this position without any comments to Air Force about their robot.
Looks like we're about to force start, so it's a open ball, and it looks like we had a similar issue with the robot again in being spotted as an extra robot on the field.
Yes, and so Air Force has just removed it, which is one way of resolving the problem. We are once again in a situation where the ball might be a free ball and a forced start, but Air Force was clearly getting the better of that one. But playing into the defenders of RoboCin is not necessarily the best choice because they would just chip it away again. We can see that the robots are dueling for the position. RoboCin got the better of that, got immediately to the keeper, but the keeper was there, chipped it out back again. So now we also know that the keeper does have a chipper. Just wasn't using it later. Last situation where it was like bumping around in the defense box of Air Force, which Air Force definitely didn't appreciate.
Looks like we might have something like no progress here because both robots were fighting over the ball and it was stuck in the middle. So it looks like we are again removing another robot for Air Force.
Yeah.
Maybe a technical issue.
We're like at 18 seconds left in the halftime. This is gonna be maybe even the last situation we're seeing for this match. There's a little ball placement that is stuck because there's no ball in the vision, probably. So let's see how the referee resolves that one.
So if RoboCin fails this ball placement,
who knows? Let's see who knows, because
it is a forced start, so
it is a strange situation. Sir, you're not on vision. Now you're on vision. Okay.
So the force started, just result kind of the same situation we had before.
So the game is running now, both teams get to do. Air Force is defending the ball, but that was a very bouncy position in front of the defense box. I don't think Air Force is happy about that either. The ball has left the field. There are still 3 seconds in the game.
Probably have one play left.
Yeah, so I was early, right? I said the last one was probably going to be the last. This one is going to be the last now. It is at least a goal kick for Air Force, but it's on the very wrong side of the field.
If they can keep it in play, they have a potential one more chance to
Yes.
score here, which would tie the game and allow us to go into overtime.
Correct.
But if they're unable to kick this ball, and which
It
unfortunately
is very likely that if the ball goes out, then it's over. But they even failed the ball placement, so it is even going to be a kick for RoboCin. If RoboCin is any smart, they will just do one pass and pass it out, and then they win the match. Let's see if they have something like that. Probably they didn't think of building something like that in advance. So maybe there's a chance for Air Force that a human would really not allow them to have. RoboCin is positioning themselves for an aggressive attack, but no. Oh, RoboCin did technically the smart thing. They got too close to the attacker, to the defense box of Air Force, which did stop the game. If the referee is being hyper-aggressive, yes, he is calling. She's calling the end of the match. So we will shortly see the match to end? Question mark. Yes. The match. No. The game control operator has pressed the wrong button. Game control operator, please end the match. It's on the first page.
So we are not going into overtime. There's a mislabel here. We've actually finished the match. RoboCin has won the match against Air Force. They have won their rematch.
Yes.
And are going to the final against Tigers Mannheim. So very exciting final match.
Very exciting final match.
Thank you for joining for the lower final for Division A. We're looking forward to seeing you for the Division B upper final shortly, and then the which will be the 6-on-6 teams, the smaller teams of robots, with Warthog Robotics against Traps, and then we will have the Division A upper final with Tigers Mannheim versus RoboCin, the winner of this match.